let me just point out the illusion of Russian and Chinese aggression around the world. You'll hear this repeated many, many times that, any day, Russia is going to take over the entire world. China's taking over the world. They're doing all this stuff. If you look at the number of foreign bases between the U.S. and the U.K., we have about 900 overseas military bases where we have troops stationed in foreign countries. The total bases of the Russians and the Chinese, about 35. About 35 in total. China only has 5 overseas bases compared to the 900 or so U.S. UK. We've created this bizarre illusion because the deep state, the war industrial complex, must have enemies. You cannot manufacture weapons when you don't have enemies. And so we create this illusion that they're coming to get us. They're on our doorsteps. And the fact of the matter is that China is out to make a buck. They want money. The Belt and Road Initiative is very important, but they have a different paradigm. Our paradigm is we go into a country, we set up NGOs, we take over, the government by coup. If we can't, then we just bomb the place to smithereens half the time. And you compare that with the foreign policy of China, which is you go in, you work with whatever government is there. You're not judgmental, but you make hard business decisions. You make investments. And I think for people who are comparing the foreign aid paradigm of the U.S. and China, they're saying, my likelihood of surviving is much higher if I follow the Chinese paradigm. So we need to just get away from this feeling that we have to constantly be at war with the entire world. Great Britain has the 21-mile English Channel that separates it from Europe, and that 21 miles has kept it quite safe from invasion over many centuries. There have been a couple of exceptions, and the Vikings came in and different things, bigger ones than that. But in any event, they're basically safe. 21 miles of ocean. You look at us. We've got 5,000, 6,000 miles of ocean separating us from the nearest threats that we perceive. So we probably have less reason to be militaristic than any great nation on earth. And yet here we are. Our budget is, the last I checked, it was as large as the next largest 11 defense budgets of the biggest defense spenders in the world. So we cut a single check to Ukraine that is as big as the entire military budget of Russia for a year. So we need to escape from this illusion that they're out to get us, because they're not out to get us. There is nothing aggressive either in the policy of China or of Russia. And the only aggression is with the U.S., UK, the NATO countries, which, I look at the history of the wars of the Russian Federation. You have the tiny war in Georgia. You have the war in Syria, which they didn't get involved in until 4 years after the terrorists had been there. And then finally, at the last moment, they agreed to go in at the request of Syria because ISIS and Al-Qaeda threatened to overwhelm the country. Very reluctant, somewhat limited involvement in Syria. and now you have the situation in Ukraine. You compare that to our situation where we've fought multiple wars against Iraq. We fought in Somalia, we fought in Bosnia, we fought in Haiti, we fought in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Yemen, Libya, Uganda, Syria. I probably missed half a dozen wars that we fought. We fight everywhere. You can literally have a soldier who retires with 30 years active service in the U.S. Army, and he will retire and never have served a single day when the United States was not invading and occupying some country. So to compare that with the situation with Russia and China, where has China fought? Who have they invaded? They've had a couple little border disputes, but that's it. They don't invade people. We invade people. So we need to get away from this illusion. If we could ever break away from the illusion that they're out to get us, which is totally false, then we could start chopping back on our defense budget. World tensions could reduce, and we could get back to making cell phones or whatever we do for a living, and have a genuine economy that wasn't based on killing people in foreign countries.